Hello, everybody. I'm Craig Kimbrough, Positive Guru. That's positiveguru.com. As always, glad to have you along in this journey into the world of spirituality, metaphysics, and meditation. I had a few things on my mind, and this morning, and I knew what I was going to talk about, but this morning I decided I would open up book 30 Days of Metaphysics, Miracles, and Enlightenment in Your Life. And I said, let me see if there's a page that sums up or even delves into what I'm thinking about. And in some ways I thought maybe not. I mean, I'm sure it probably would have been. But I opened up, and the page I got to, in of course, the book 30 Days of Metaphysics, Miracles, and Enlightenment in Your Life is the second book I wrote. It's on, you can find it on Amazon or on the website, positiveguru.com. But the page I opened up to was something that Mr. Umbrister used to say from time to time. And of course I elaborated on it in the book just a little bit. But he would say that this science adds years to your life and life to your years. And here's the elaboration on page 113. It says, meditation on the proper centers and vibration within dramatically reduces stress. Reduction of stress equates to better flow of life force and less disease and ailments. This adds years to your life. Turning your attention to the divine within removes fears and constrictions that we don't often even realize we have. It also gives you vision, understanding, and abilities to change your life into a marvelous adventure. This, of course, adds life to your years. So the meditation adds the years to your life, and at the same time adds a life to your years. And sometimes you have to remember this, and sometimes, I think about there's a lot I want to do with my life, my possible mortality or whatever else, and trying to make sure when you reach a certain age, like me at 35, it's a joke. But when you reach a certain age, you start thinking about eating better. You might feel not quite as, you might start to feel a little bit more sluggish or this or that or the other. So you start thinking about these things. You see people around you maybe passing earlier than you expected or whatever. So sometimes we start to think about our longevity. And of course, meditating, there's less stress. We all know stress causes way more disease and ailments than practically anything. And it also adds to whatever is going on. But at the same time, there's other ways it can add years to your life. I've told the story many times about how I was riding down the road on Northwestern Highway and it was pouring rain, and I stopped before the other cars and left a space in between. The guy next to me did the same thing, and I did because I saw this big tree, and I didn't think it was any way that thing was going to fall, but something told me to just stop anyway, and I could not make myself move forward in line. And then seconds later, boom! A huge thing falls right in front of my car and the other guy's car. And it was amazing. Now, so what does meditation have to do with that? Before I began to get into meditation, I did not get nearly as many things like that happening where I would just get the universe telling me or my deeper self telling me, hey, do this. And if it did, maybe I didn't listen as attentively. But since being into it, I made way more attention. And that day, I promised myself, I was like, woo, God, I'm going to always listen. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't even be here. But hey, meditation adds years to your life. There's been other times in which incredible things happened, and it seemed like I was going to be gone. But yet, I'm still here. And in addition to that, meditation gave me 2 different diets that have improved my health at 2 different times in my life. meditation adds years to your life. That the information came to me meditatively. I didn't look on TV or search to find out what type of diet I should have, or this, that, the other. It just came to me. And when it came, I felt the way I do when I'm in meditation. I heard the inner vibration, that Om vibration. And I knew, I said, this is what I got to do. Now, I also maintain, and I've heard it said before, we've all heard it said before, people are going through something, somebody we love or something like that, and they're in a critical state. And sometimes we will hear just how important it is to have the will to live. And many times it can make all the difference in the world. Just our mind state, just our, I've even read and I believe that if we have things to look forward to, that makes a difference in our longevity. If we have a reason to get up in the morning. We've talked about it many times in here about how often when people were retired, they didn't have some plan, or they didn't have something that made them want to get up in the morning, made them feel useful, especially in men more than women, it seemed like. They'd end up passing on sooner. A friend had told me that in the trade that he was in, he said that they had a specific number of years that the guys would pass on after they after they retired, and it was very common. How many years was that, Aaron?
No, 7 checks.
I'm sorry. It was checks. Wow. 7 checks. Not even
weeks.
Not even years. 7 checks.
7 months.
But the thing is, I guess after 7 months, I guess they get them checks monthly at that point. 7 months was like known to be like an average type of thing or something. But those who tend to work longer tend to live longer. But it was that they had a reason to be in this world, a reason to be doing things. Well, my teacher would say, I can tell who's meditating. I can tell by what they're doing. When you are clearing your mind and you go into that place within, you get inspiration. Now, you can be someone who meditates, and maybe you say, well, I'm not getting the inspiration. I don't feel enthused. I don't feel the life to my years. And I was going through that not too long ago. Luckily, I knew what it was. My Param guru, Dr. Thin, that's my guru, Mr. Ambrister's guru. And he was around before I was born. But in one of his books, he had a term for it, for what I was going through. He called it virag. He said, what is virag? He described it now, just like in our culture, bad can mean a couple different meanings. I'm bad. That can mean good. That can mean, oh man, that's bad. Well, virag had a couple meanings. And one of the meanings of virag is the downward tendency, the negative movement, as he called it. And when that negative movement comes over us, that downward tendency comes over us, we all of a sudden don't have any zest and zeal for life. The things that normally would have excited us seem to no longer excite us anymore. Sometimes that happens just because of so much contact with the material world. We've gotten beat up on enough times or in enough ways to where we're just like, oh man, I've had enough or whatever. Then other times, we've grown. We've grown spiritually. And those things that may have enthused us before may not anymore. But it's because before it was for its own sake, or before it was for purely egotistical reasons. And now it's time to move into the spiritual aspirations. But whenever rag hits us, we just feel like, man, that doesn't enthuse me. That doesn't enthuse me. I'm just here. And that's what I was going through. And I am used to being enthused. I'm used to jumping up in the morning, excited to get into the day. But it was coming over me a little bit, and I knew what it was. I also knew the cure for it. I also knew that I need to come in contact with the field, with the Nam, the Om vibration, with the word within, with the unified field that Einstein speaks of. This field is energetic. It gives us life. It's the fountain of youth. I knew I needed to partake of that more. I knew I needed to get myself into the whole spiritual realm more. I knew I needed to get myself into the higher possibilities more. And then as I was getting up and getting into the shower, I got shamed. Part of my psyche went to a place because I was thinking about this election. Maybe it was on the radio or something, I don't know. And I was like, man. I remember in the movie Exit Through the Gift Shop, excellent movie. Talks about the great artist, graffiti artist Banksy. And it talks about this guy, Terry, who was known as Brainwash, and how Terry moved from being someone who took pictures everywhere and documented things and documented the people who were doing the graffiti art. He went from that to becoming a graffiti artist, and then becoming an artist. And at one point, when they were at his one-man show, first show ever that he had as an artist, and it was shortly after he became a graffiti artist, but now he's doing this one-man show, this big show. And people were standing in line. I mean, they were all down the block. This show made over $1 million. It was one show. And they were asking about him because he had his stuff everywhere. Brainwash this and brainwash that and brainwash is coming and all of this, to where it became a phenomenon. It was on the news and so forth. And when they had the people in line, one of the interviewers asked him, he says, "You here for brainwash?" Yes. And he said, well, what is it about him in this show that has you standing in this long line waiting to get in? And he says, because, man, Brainwash, he's down for his. He's down for his. And he had seen Brainwash let you know, I'm coming. I'm the new thing. And this guy, he was inspired. It's inspiring to see somebody who's down for theirs. And I said, I'll be damned. I'm 59 and I'm not into it right now. And yet Donald Trump is 80. He's down for his. Whether you believe the shot was a hoax or whether it was real, he got back up, fight. He's down for his. When he was on the ground, like, I got to get back up. I got to let him know that we're doing this. Now, does that mean I'm a Donald Trump fan? No, I don't get into politics. No. Kamala Harris, she's 59. She's down for hers. A lot of times I'm thinking, or many of us think, oh, I'm getting to be this certain age. I guess it's time for me to coast in. Let me get my rocking chair and sit on the front porch and, you know. But I have goals, I have dreams, I have ideas. And at this moment, they were not enthusing me, and I felt shamed because I was not being down for mine. I said, man, I got to do something about this. I don't know what to do. So I do know what to do. I got to come out of this barrage. I got to get re-energized. Well, I did step up my meditations a little bit, and I had the thought in my head. And I knew I was going to get re-energized somehow. Well, the same day, I happened to go online on my phone looking for a movie that maybe we could see. My wife and I, my wife and my son and I, my youngest of my sons, he's the one that lives with us. And I didn't really want to see Joker. I said, what else is out? I saw Reagan. Now, I'm not a fan of, I've never been a fan of Ronald Reagan. No shade or anything. Just wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. No shade or anything. But I said, I hope it's not about Ronald Reagan. Maybe it's something else. I want to see what this is about. So there wasn't that many movie choices at the time. So I looked. This is about Ronald Reagan. And I clicked on to see what the trailer was going to have. And incidentally, when I was thinking about how Donald Trump was down for his and how I was not being down for mine, how Kamala was down for hers, and how I was not being down for mine at this moment, because I could think about times in my life when I was down for mine and everybody knew it. Well, during this time I was thinking, well, there are certain things I want to do. Now, maybe he wants to rule the world. I don't want to rule the world, but there's some things I want to do that will be big in the world. And so now I'm clicking on, I'm seeing what this Ronald Reagan movie is going to be like, that I figure I'm probably not going to want to see. And when I'm clicking on it, it's showing him in scenes when he's younger. He's talking, he's meeting his wife and so forth, and he's alive. And he's this actor who decides that he wants to be governor, and who became a politician, and how he was, some might really ridicule that, and how he wondered if he should do it, but yet it was in him. Then how he was this retired governor, but deciding, I want to become president. And as they're showing these different scenes, they have something in the background being sung slow from a song that I loved back in the day. And they're saying, and it's sung in a different tone even. They're saying, welcome to your life. I forget the other words, but
there's no turning
here we go.
back.
There's no turning back. What's next?
While we sleep.
Something we sleep. But basically, the part I did remember was, everybody wants to rule the world. And I said, man, I was just thinking about my man wanting to rule the world. I'm just thinking about what I want to do. Yeah, Tears for Fears. I saw him in concert. So I'm just like, man, this ain't no coincidence. God is coming to talk to me. I said, man, and this is bringing life to my years. I'm coming alive now because I see God is coming to talk to me, coming to show me and remind me of the times that I've been totally alive, totally into my world, and then I was down for mine. And I'm going to watch how Reagan was down for his, man. And it was quite the movie. I went to go see it. I really enjoyed that movie. I remember one point when Ronald Reagan was deciding, and he had this driving thing. You gotta, what is it that drives you? He had this driving thing. He was against communism, and he was against the Soviets, and he felt like they were trying to take over our country from the inside and from the outside, and he did not want that to happen. That was his big thing, it seemed like. And it was pretty deep. It drove him. And at one point he was deciding how he was going to help out with this, because he would talk about it all the time. So as people say, you need to do something about it. You're talking about this all the time. And he said, well, he says, you know, as a governor, I probably couldn't do much. And as a actor, I probably couldn't do much. He says, but as a president, maybe I could do some things. And the guy says, hey, yeah, you should be president. And he says, president? He says, man, I never played a president before. I never played the role of a president. I played the role of this, I never played the role of president. So he decided he had to play that role. He was an actor. That's what he knew how to do. And that's all right, because it's been said, do the thing and you will have the power. I have often believed in method acting for enlightenment. You live it and you become it. Man, I wrote this poem. It's on my website and I forgot to have it pulled up. But it went along with such a thing. Now I'm going to see if I can find my website on my phone. I know how to. Man, this is my Apple. I'm a Samsung person, so it's harder for me to find. I can't even get to the main page in here. This is pretty interesting. Oh, here we go. Positive Guru. I don't know, you got to give me a second. But on the page, I talked about an incredible experience, one that I had witnessed and enjoyed and lived out. Now I'm looking on my other phone. Well, it's not even coming up on this phone, man. But now I'm about to lose my connection. I did something stupid to knock myself offline. Well, anyway, if you're watching on YouTube, you're gonna have to probably go to Facebook. But in the poem, I was talking about my son. And I started out asking a question. Can you be that person who you want to be? Or, wow, if you're watching Facebook, I'm going to have to upload this later on YouTube because I lost my YouTube connection. But now I can read the poem because I just knocked myself out of, I knocked myself out the whole internet. Wow. So anyway, I was asking a question. The question I was asking was, can I be that person now, or do I have to wait? That person who I want to be. And I was reminded of this situation where I was talking to my son, my middle son. I was asking him, along with his sisters, I was saying, do you want to be an artist one day? And the two daughters, they said, oh, maybe one day, I'm not sure, this, that, the other. But Corey answered differently. He ended up saying, I am an artist. I'm doing art right now. I found that to be a fascinating and most interesting answer at the time. I'm like, that's pretty good. I found it to be metaphysical. Well, at that time he was in art class. And it was through this college, this art college. It was a summer program. And he was not one of the ones that was the star of the class. But interestingly enough, he created a fabulous work that year. And it became the feature for the summer exhibition. It was on the cover of the brochures and everything, and it was this fantastic work. And no one saw that coming. It was absolutely incredible. The dignitaries made a big deal about it. Everybody made a big deal about it at the exhibition. This is a young man that did the cover piece. But I maintain it happened because he had got in his head that I'm an artist now. Not after I learn the rest of the things I'm supposed to know. I am an artist right now. And that's what I am. And when that happens, there's a certain shift that goes on in the mind. When we subconsciously feel as though we are there, the higher parts of our mind goes into action. Draw some places inside us that we didn't even know we had. Has us doing things in ways which we would not have done before. And it's the most incredible thing. And as I'm thinking about this, I'm like, man, this is incredible. And going back to the whole brag thing, downward tendency thing, and the movie, and being drawn into the theater, and being seen about living it out, and jumping into your role. I was alive once again. This science had added years to my life. It brought me back. It brought me back into knowing that the places I would like to go, I am there right now. I have to live it out boldly and not hold back. Not say, oh, I'm kind of this, or oh, I'm kind of that, oh, I'm moving into this, oh, when I get here, that. I have to live it like it's happening right now. I have to meditate for more strength in order to do it. I have to dialogue with God so God can tell me, hey, go to this movie theater. I got something for you. I want you to see how this thing is depicted. And it was very interesting. Like I said, it was really interesting watching the life of Ronald Reagan. It gave me some different perspective on him. At one point he said, I'm going to wage the biggest war there ever was. I'm going to do it without even firing a missile, without even shooting a gun. And then he waged the war through his words on his enemies to be. And he and he talked about the knocking down of the Berlin Wall and so forth. And within a short period of time, that wall came down. Within a short period of time, there was no more Soviet Union. And what he did actually came to pass. Or what he saw came to pass. Maybe that's a better way to put it. But when you practice this science, you can see it. When you practice this science, you get inspiration. When you practice this science, you get ideas telling you, I need to go over here to get some more information. Go over here to see this depicted. I need to remember how this was done and remember what happened on account of it. Remember that, hey, as soon as he saw himself as an artist, he became an artist. And all of a sudden, he rose to the top of the class. I had to remember the different times when I realized that I was him whom I seek. I realized that I am where I'm trying to go. And then as I kept moving in that direction, it became a wonderful thing. I think I began to realize that I still had these aspirations and dreams, but I didn't realize how they were going to come about. And not seeing that, the enthusiasm for it had left off so. But when you practice this science, you come alive. When you practice this science, you can see. When you practice this science, you remember your greatness. I remember when I was starting my business. I remember, not just remember it, I feel it. I have the feeling that I had when I first started it. I have the feeling in order to make the changes within it that I need to change. When I first got on the meditation path, my teacher told me I was on fire. I feel the fire. But I had to go back. And we must all go back. We must take time to go within. And when we do, we will become alive. And we will have reasons to live longer. And as a man thinketh, so is he. And as a woman thinketh, so is she. We will have reasons to be in great health. We will have reasons to have the money. And it will just, we are magnets. We just don't realize it. We will draw it all unto ourselves. We will live it out and the world will see it. And the world will be inspired. And we will be alive. Truly alive. Craig Kimbrough, Positive Guru. Until next time, peace and blessings. Thank you.